Hey everybody, Dave here in Freedom Investing. In today's video we're going to go over Interactive Brokers and we're going to look at how to set up the options layout for Interactive Brokers. Their platform is called TWS or Trader Workstation. So there are obviously a bunch of different ways you can set up your options, particular layout. This is how I set it up. I've been using Interactive Brokers for 8 years now and pretty much options ever since for those 8 years. Obviously you could set it up any way you want, but I'm going to kind of tell you the reason why I set up the way I set it up. And in addition to that, I am using IBKR PRO. I'm going to be using a simulated account, like a paper trading account, because if I use my actual real account, I would have to go ahead in there and delete everything out of there and just to kind of do the demonstration. So instead we'll use the simulated trading account and start it up from scratch. So let's go ahead and dig into the video. Alright, we are logged into Interactive Brokers TWS platform here, and this is, like I said, the IBKR PRO. In addition to that, we're also using the paper trading account, simulated trading. So it's just, like I said, because the other account, my real account, is just going to bring up stuff that's pre-populated and we don't want that. So we are in MOSAIC mode, and the classic TWS here is for people that were have charts on like a separate, they're using charts from a different platform, or they're using charts from like a third-party company or something like that. They could be using NinjaTrader or something like that, and they just need to use Interactive Brokers for the quick execution and trade. So back in the day, Interactive Brokers used to be, really cheap. It used to be the discount broker out there. Now that everybody's free, it's not really so much of a big deal anymore, but that's the reason why somebody would probably use Classic. But so this is what the default looks like, the default layout looks like. So we're going to go ahead and create a new tab down at the bottom here. We're going to call that options. So we got options there, and let's go ahead and add a new window. So we're going to add in a options chain first. Before we do that, let's go ahead and just kind of expand this window, and then we'll hit this lock icon here. That green border just means it's unlocked, so we have it as big as it can go. I am using I do have a 4K screen on my laptop, but I am using 1080p, so 1920 by 1080. So obviously if you have more real estate, you can make everything bigger. So let's go ahead and put the options chain window right against the edge there, and taking up half the screen, and then we'll go ahead and scroll this all the way down. So we got the options chain window taking up basically half of the screen. So, and then let's go ahead and add in a portfolio view, and there we go. Let's go ahead and scroll this up a little bit here. We don't need that big of a portfolio section because we'll pretty much only be doing 1 or 2 options at a time. So, and let's go ahead and add a order entry. So there's our order entry, and then right above the order entry we want like a trade log, so to speak. So we'll go under order management and we'll do, let's see here, trades, and that put it down here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and just scroll that up and scroll that one down and put that one right there, and click on this one. Scroll that one down. We're going to resize these here. I'm just trying to get the windows on the screen for now. So pretty much move that right there, and then move that up. And we'll just move this one up to make room for a chart. And there we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add 2 watch lists in here. So we'll put 1 watch list in, and we'll make it about that size or so. Like I said, we're just going to try to get these in here for now, and then we'll resize everything afterwards. We'll make it about that big, and then we'll add another we'll add another watch list, and we're going to put that one right below. And I'm going to talk about the reason why I have 2 watch lists in here. So, and there we go. Snapped off to the left a little bit. to the right a little bit. So, all right, scroll that up, resize and rescale. And below that, we're gonna go ahead and put a chart in here. So let's go ahead and add a chart. And there we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and scroll this over and then kind of rescale, resize that to be a little bit bigger here. Oops. All right, that's rescaled, and then we're gonna add basically 2 more windows here. So let's go ahead and put another chart in. And this chart is going to sit down here in the bottom, kind of rescale that a little bit. And I'm gonna kind of tell you the reason why I lay everything out like this once we get everything on the screen. So, and I'll kind of leave that about right there, and then scroll this down to about right there. And then we're going to put one more window in here, and this one is the quote details. So let's see, quote details, there we go. Before we add the quote details down there, let's go ahead and just change the settings on that. So we click on that gear icon, and we will do, let's see here, we're going to go ahead and get rid of all of this stuff right here. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to change the layout orientation on that to horizontal, because everybody loves to be horizontal. So, and then let's hit OK. There we go. And then we're going to resize that window to fit down there at the bottom. And I really need to get rid of a couple more things out of there, but let's go ahead and click on that gear icon again and do settings and get rid of ESG. And let's get rid of, there's some other ones in there we want to get rid of. So earnings, valuation, we care about all that. So that looks good for now. All right, so there's our window. Now we can scroll that one down and resize it a little bit here to fit down there. So perfect. So let's fit that down there. And we'll make that one, looks like we missed the size just a little bit here. Rescale, and there we go. And then this one rescaled. Looks like everything rescaled on me a little bit, so let's go ahead and just make those back to where they should be. Let's go ahead and add one more window here, and that is the like and subscribe. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Go ahead and set that bell notification for future videos. Okay, now that we have the basic layout on here, looks like this window down here needs to be adjusted a little bit, but let's go ahead and add a couple of tickers in here. So we're gonna add on the first watch list, we're gonna add the tickers that I like to trade. So we'll add like Microsoft in there. We're gonna add in, say, like Apple. We'll add in, say, like Facebook. And let's go ahead and add like a Google in there as well. Now we have the basic underlying stocks that I like to trade for options, you know, selling those cash secured puts and selling those covered calls. Now I don't do covered calls in this particular account, but so we're gonna add IB rank to this watch list here so we can see what the IV rank is on those particular stocks. We'll click on the gear icon, we'll do settings. And then from the settings, we'll go to underneath options, and then we'll do the 52-week IV rank here, and there it is. So we'll go add that. Boom, there it is. Apply. And it's a little too big there. We can't see it. It is up to the right. So what we'll do is we'll just rescale these a little bit here, and probably just that one, and maybe this one a little bit. And then probably this one. There we go. All right, so now that we have the IV rank in there, we can also go ahead and add a couple of indexes, because I like to follow the index. I'm going to talk about that in a minute here. Let's put SPX in there, and that one, and we're going to go ahead and stick in the futures. So we'll do ES, and we're going to go ahead and do futures. We're going to do June. So now that we have the futures in there, and then for this right hand screen for the options chain, let's go ahead and add a couple of more options and features there. So let's go ahead and do layout, and let's go ahead and add in, let's see here, Greeks. We want to add in, let's say, delta, and then we want it in, let's see, theta. Those are the two Greeks that I really care about the most. Now granted, when I'm selling options, selling to open options, I don't really look at them too much. I might look at delta and might look at theta a little bit here and there, but those are probably the most common ones that I use. Now there is a lot of other ones you could put in here as well, gamma and vega and all that, but these are probably the most common ones. So we're gonna also click on this down here, calls, layout, mirrors, puts. So that kind of just makes both sides look the same somewhat. And there we go. So we can also resize all those by just scrolling this over a little bit like this, and then scrolling this one over, and that's how you resize that. So for this window up here, the portfolio window, we're going to add a couple new features to this one as well. So we're going to do settings, and then let's see here, it looks like we need, let's see, we need to add in theta, and we need to add in delta. So let's delta that, and let's theta that. And the last thing we need to add to this window is probably just the underline. It looks like it's missing. So we'll go to options, and then we'll go to, we'll scroll down here, we'll do underline price, and then we'll hit add. And then we're gonna hit OK. All right, so let's make that window a little bit smaller. And to get a little bit more real estate over here. And that's what I was talking about earlier. We kind of really just get the windows on there first, and then we can resize them. So we need to move that up a little bit because it looked like the window resized on me. And we also need to scroll that one up a little bit. We'll scroll this one up a little bit. That one, so we're gonna change the order entry. See how it has a submit button there? We kind of want quick entry, so we'll just do the gear icon on this one, and we'll do settings, and then you have three options kind of here. So we'll go and do the rapid transit, and we'll apply that, and now we can make that window even smaller so to get a little bit more real estate. So all right, let's go ahead and scroll that one up now. Oops, wrong window. And see how we can get more real estate out of that now. So, and then now we're gonna have more room for the chart. Need to scroll that over a little bit, resize, rescale, there we go. And then we need to scroll this bottom up a little bit here. There we go. And it looks like I missed the bottom of that window just a tad bit. There we go. Okay, now that we have the windows resized, at least up and down, we got everything pretty much where we want them. We need to link the windows now. So what we're going to do here is we care about this chart. We want this chart right here specifically to be linked to this watch list. All right, so we'll just change that one to say blue, and we'll change this one to blue, and I'll tell you the reason why. We got green over here, we have green up here, we have green here, green, green, and green. And this one is blue and blue. So this window here, we want to get rid of these, quick action buttons. We don't care about having those on the particular chart. So let's go ahead and let's just get rid of that. So hot buttons and hide. All right, got rid of those. And one of the other things we're also going to do is we're going to change the strikes up here to show more strikes than just 8, so we'll do all. Now we have a lot more strikes showing up. We have delta, we have theta, we have the strikes there, and we have all showing our, now we have all the windows that we want to see. We have underlying price set up there. We can kind of expand these out so we can see more of what we're trying to look for here. Theta, we can kind of expand out as well. And we'll expand that out. We'll expand this one out a little bit. We'll expand the change out a little bit, and we'll expand the average price out a little bit. Right, basically just trying to take up that real estate that exists up there. Yeah, $1 million. That's funny. Okay, so we have everything laid out pretty much how we want it to be laid out. Now let me tell you the reasons why I even lay it out like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be trading these stocks up here, all right, options on these stocks up here. So if I click on Microsoft, that basically changes all of the options chains here automatically for me. In addition to that, you notice it also changed this chart over here, all right? But it did not change this chart here. And by the way, we need to change this to a 1 minute. So let's just do that, 1 minute. And let's just go ahead and lock this real quick. So we're locked, all right? So why do I lay it out like this? Okay, so why do I have this chart here that's not connected to this chart? You know, it's not connected to this options chain or underlying stock. So the reason why I do that is because I like to be able to see on the index itself, you know, the ES futures or SPX, doesn't really matter. They're both the same theoretically. I like to be able to see when the actual market is rolling over, and then that is going to dictate whether or not you know, I would be getting into selling that put, or you know, getting into selling to open that put, or I'd be getting into selling to open that call. So if the market's going up, you kind of notice that last candle there is going down, right? That means that the put prices will go up on the right hand side over here, okay? Because these are the puts, right? If the market goes up, like from this, made this move here in this last 5 minutes right there, then that means that the put prices will go down and that the call prices will go up. So they're inverse of each other, right? So the underlying stock goes up. So granted, the ES has, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Google, has all these big stocks in there, all right? So these stocks are market movers. In general, when the underlying, index goes up, that means most likely these are going up. All right, now that's not always the case, but in general is a pretty good idea. So I like to, when I'm getting ready to make a trade on an option, I like to watch the ES, the SPX, it doesn't really matter, the S&P 500, and if it's going up, that means in general my stock is probably going to be going up. That means that the calls are going up, all right? So and inverse is true as well, right? Stock, the index goes down, that means that the stock is most likely probably going to go down, and that is when we would be looking at selling to open some cash secured puts. All right, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave a comment below. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook as well, and go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.